Okay, so I think the new rule on YouTube is you're not allowed to swear in the first 15 seconds. 13, 14, 15. I'm gonna do a very bisexual girl thing and figure out how the fuck I want to sit, and then not sit like that the entire video because I'll never get comfortable, and that's so great. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ruby, and today I'm going to be talking about my bullshit experiences in church. Okay, we're talking about church experiences, and I feel like something that's important to talk about is I was involved in evangelical megachurches for 26 years of my life. Now, that entire time wasn't in megachurches, but like a shit ton of time. My entire adult life basically was in megachurches. I'm 29 now, almost 30, old bitch. So a lot of time was spent in church. This is who I used to be before I was the gorgeous, gorgeous girl you see before you. I was super involved in church, on staff at a megachurch before I moved to Missouri and lived in misery. Here's a few videos of me when I was doing that. I think I'm putting them on screen. I don't know. This video's gonna have no goddamn flow. Yeah, so I worked at a church. I did a whole bunch of music shit. I'm kind of a music girly. I am absolutely gonna brag in this video because I fucking earned it. I was a beautiful musician. I play a whole bunch of instruments really well. I went to Berkeley. I did orchestra shit, and it's crazy that I'm talking about it like this in this video because literally in life I'm like, yeah, I went to Berkeley. It's like not a big deal. Like we don't have to talk about it. But in my brain, I'm like, I went to fucking Berkeley, bitch. I know how to write music. I've got music on Spotify because you can self-publish that shit. Anybody can be on Spotify. Holy fuck. This video, call me Mrs. Lucas, because I'm going to save this video in the edit. If you get that, you're a mega fucking nerd. Couple fun facts about me. I am a trans girl, which just means I'm a girl, but I worked harder for it. 2, I have autism. You can see some of my Sonic wall, but there's more, and I have Sonic Lego downstairs. So if anybody wants to fight me on that, I have all the proof possibly needed. 3, I have DID, which just means that there's not only one hot girl in here, there's a few hot girls in here. One of them is probably editing this video right now because I hate working. So I asked some of my friends on Instagram, I said, hey, I'm going to talk about my bullshit during church. Send me some questions. So my first one was from Jay, and they said, yeah, it was bullshit coming from a fellow intern. Yes, that's right. This girlie was an intern at this church called Manna Church when I was 20 years old, I think. Yeah, I turned 21 during the internship. I was doing a worship internship, which meant that I paid the church money so I could go to college and they could tell me what to do. They said, actually quit your job because it's probably better if you give this year to Jesus. And that's horse shit. That's slave labor and making us pay for it. I had a mental health fucking breakdown during that time. Near the end of the year, I had full-on panic attacks, and the intern director said, hey bitch, why are you falling behind in classes? You really need to make sure that you're doing better in classes. It looks like you're slipping. Is there anything we can do for you? I'm stressing the fuck out and this is stressing me out more. Well, you should probably pray about that and get yourself in check because this doesn't reflect well on the church or on Jesus, was the vibe. Of course. My next question was, what was a culture shock coming out of Christianity? Thank you, Elliot, for that question. That is a beautiful question. For one, I thought I was a boy and I thought I was straight, but it turns out we're a beautiful bisexual woman, and we always were. One of the biggest culture shocks coming out was that, oh my God, people like sex. Oh my God. Most of these other Christians didn't actually believe this shit, and they didn't actually like practice this shit. Outside of Sundays, people don't go to church twice a week. That's fucking crazy. Because I'm an autistic girly, so of course, while I was in church, that was my hyperfixation. And I said, get me there all the time. Oh, you want to abuse the fact that I'm addicted to this shit and I have no self-respect? Absolutely, I will. I want to sing, but you want me playing guitar instead? Because you think I'm a shitty singer, but you'll never actually say that? Okay, that's totally fine. This means that I'm gonna get to sing, right? Oh, you're gonna say that it is so that you can keep on using and abusing me? Hell yeah, we love that. So some of the biggest culture shocks were like, holy shit, I believed in this shit and like I was practicing this shit way more than anybody else around me. I believed harder. I believed more sincerely than almost everybody I ever went to college with, went to church with. I went to fucking Hillsong College. I went to Highlands College. I went to all those bullshit churches, and all that time I was feeling so insecure. I'm like, oh, I'm such a bad Christian. And in retrospect, those motherfuckers outside of college were fucking partying and fucking and having all this fun, while I was like, I want to make sure to honor the Lord with everything I do, so I'm gonna stay in my room forever because I don't know how to connect with people because I don't know who I am. So that was really fun. And then the other question was, and she starts to think, what the fuck was the other question? Oh, that's right. What was your deconstruction process like, / did you end up deconstructing back into Christianity? I think it's pretty obvious from this video so far that abso-fucking-lutely not. I have no interest in going back to religion at all. They stole everything from me. I'm 29 and I've been out of religion for like 2.5 years, 3 years, and it's been a really hard fought journey. As soon as I got out, I got into therapy because I literally was like, wait, what the fuck? Everything I know about how to live life no longer applies. I don't know how to be a human being. I don't know how to interact with people anymore. My entire framework of how to interact with people anymore is completely gone. And especially as an autistic person, it was super, super tough because I had this language, I had these scripts, I had these defined structures to tell me this is how you interact with people, this is how you meet people, this is how you talk to people, this is what you should do and what you shouldn't do. And now I'm out of it and I just get to decide who I am, what I care about, what I value. Like that was really fucking scary, like for real. So me and my therapist worked through that for a long time. A lot of sexual shame, a lot of questions about my gender, about my sexuality. I wasn't allowed to question any of those things while I was in it. People with pronouns were lost and they needed to be saved and they were just confused. Now that I'm exploring my gender, I'm like, I've actually never been less confused about my gender. When I was presenting as a boy, I was always so confused why I felt so feminine and so ashamed of being feminine. And then I came out as a woman and I said, oh, this all makes sense. It's because I'm a woman. That's why I felt that way. That's why I never felt comfortable as a boy. Because I wasn't one. I wasn't able to question my sexuality. The way that I interacted with guys was like so fucking gay. Everybody asked all the time, including my own mom. And if she's watching this video, hi mom, I'm bi. What does that mean? It means I like dick and I like pussy. I wasn't allowed to question any of that, so I thought I was a straight boy, which is not true at all, especially like post-transition. I've never dated a guy, but I'm more interested in men than I am in women. Like, I think that women are so hot, but romantically, I want to date a man. I want to be with a man, and like, that's a totally new thing for me. I've only realized that in the last couple of months. I was never able to explore that. It was just this thing that I had to keep on pushing down. I had so many experiences with guys where it was clearly romantic, and I clearly had feelings for them, but I didn't know what that felt like. I didn't have a framework to describe these feelings. All I knew is I'm a guy, so I'm attracted to women, and that's just what it is. And even figuring out attraction versus like feeling sexually attracted to somebody. I'm demisexual too. I didn't realize that was an option. I think that people are hot, but like the idea of just like fucking somebody, I've done hookups and they always feel weird and they always feel empty and I don't like them anymore. I want to get to know somebody. Yeah, it was just crazy the amount of things that I wasn't able to talk about while I was in that experience. My deconstruction journey really started, I mean, honestly, probably around 2020 and 2021. I had just gotten a job at this church. Man, a church, shout out to you. You're fucked. What a bullshit church you are. And absolutely I'm naming names because fuck them. I'm still angry and still hurt. We're going to continue processing that for a long time, and that's okay. I'm autistic and I keep forcing myself to look into the camera, but I know that I think better when I'm not looking at the camera. So excuse me if I look around and at the floor and shit. But yeah, probably around like 2021, I started getting really fed up at my job. I was an audio editor. I was a music director, which basically meant I was in charge of keeping track of our songs and like telling our bands what we were going to do. Basically, I was the middleman between the worship leader and the band, which meant that I basically did all the heavy lifting and got none of the credit. And I also wrote music. I helped produce a couple of tracks. Yeah, I basically played every instrument on those tracks because our producer couldn't. So after like a year and a half of working at there and feeling absolutely fucking used, not having appreciation for how talented I am, how hard I worked, I got really tired of asking for more responsibility, for asking like, hey, I'm doing a lot and I have expedited a lot of these processes. I would like to, do more than this. I would like to get a raise. I would like to have more responsibility. And that was met with an absolutely not. The pastors were like in charge of everything and you couldn't question them. Questioning them was the highest wrong that you could do at that church. So if you stepped out of line at all, boom, you're ostracized. I was ostracized big time within that system because I questioned a lot of things within that system because some things didn't work. Like not all of it was even confrontational type of shit. Some of it was just like, hey, what if we try doing this because it might be more effective? I was actively trying to make things work better and I was getting punished for it because the pastors were all super fucking insecure. I got fed up with that. I got tired of being a cog in a system, being treated poorly and being honestly bullied by the pastors. Like I loved D&D and our lead pastor would make fun of me for it, which is like, check yourself. Jesus, sorry you're so insecure that you have to judge me for genuinely having a passion for something. Oops. So I quit that job. I had another job lined up a couple months ahead of that fell through in a way that felt like I was being sabotaged because I had another job at another one of our locations that I was going to move to Virginia, and that fell through a couple months before I was supposed to move. So then I ended up moving to Kansas City because I had no other options. My parents lived up there and I just needed somewhere to live because I had no money and no job and no idea what I was going to do. So for the next 6 months, I started listening to podcasts, watching documentaries. I went to Hillsong College, so I watched the 3 Hillsong documentaries that existed. I listened to the Downfall of Mars Hill podcast. I listened to another podcast, which I can't remember the name of, and if I remember in the edit, I'll link it here. Basically a whole lot of podcasts that revealed to me like there is no such thing as a perfect church because Christianity is a system that abuses people. Like it is an abusive system and this will happen everywhere that you go. It's a systemic issue. It's not that you're going to bad churches, it's that churches are bad. That began leading me sort of into a spiral of like, I also had a friend at work, or she wasn't a friend at that time. At that time, I was really intimidated and scared of her because she asked me a lot of questions about Christianity that I didn't know how to confront. She asked me if I thought gay people were going to hell, and I said, I don't like it, but yeah. And that led me also to question a lot of things. So after a few months of that, researching the origins of the Bible from outside of a Christian perspective and realizing how bullshit all that is, realizing like every other religion on the planet thinks that they're right and they can't all be right, but they can all be wrong. It was a really tough process for me. About 6 months after I moved to Kansas City, I left religion. I knew it wasn't right for me. I knew that I didn't believe in it anymore. I started trusting my gut more than intellectualizing and talking myself out of how I felt. And it was really difficult. It's still really difficult at times to figure all that out. To wrap everything up, if you're struggling with religion, if you're struggling with gender, sexuality, like it is a really tough time to think about all that right now. You're not the only one. There's lots of us out there. And it's really important to speak your truth. Put it into the world. Every story matters. It's a scary and lonely world out there. And I think it's important to make it less scary and less lonely. And we do that by talking about things and being honest and vulnerable. Thanks for watching.